A photonic barrier. It's basically a wall of light. And depending on your perspective, that could either be a positive or a negative thing. And it can also impact your faith. Hey, welcome to Mornings with Bishop Robert. Thanks for joining me on the top spot on the internet for Beverages with a Bishop. Whether you're drinking coffee, tea, or water, my goal is the same. I want to help introduce people to the Jesus they never knew. Then help them get to know Him and His Word personally and better. So if this time that we spend together today touches your heart, I want to invite you to like, subscribe, and then also share this video with a friend. So when our eyes are suddenly confronted with a radically different level of light, their capacity for sight is instantly diminished. If you're in an office building at night, for example, and there's a sudden loss of power, you're going to be essentially blind until your retinas can open far enough to allow you to use ambient light. Depending on how much of that there is, you may or may not have useful vision. I remember visiting Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky. At over 140 miles, it's the longest cave system known in the world. Well, at one point, our guide turned off all the lights, and we were plunged into absolute darkness. Because down underground, there is no ambient light, so we were absolutely, totally blind. Didn't matter how long we stayed there, you could literally hold your hand in front of your face and see nothing. Well, after some time had passed, the guide asked his assistant to turn on her flashlight. And even though she was close to 100 meters away from the group, her lamp provided enough light for us to see her and to make out those persons who were closest to us. When someone's in utter darkness, even a small light appears to be bright. Now, the other side of that coin is not the removal of light, but the insertion of a massively brilliant one. Back to our office building example. If you're in an office building at noon on a sunny day, you'll likely be able to see real well. But even at noon on a sunny day, if someone were to suddenly shine a 5,000 lumen flashlight at your face, once again, you're going to be essentially blind. Again. When that massive brilliance hits your retina, the photoreceptors in your eye will overwhelm your optic nerve. That's a photonic barrier. Blocks you from seeing anything else. The effect it has on your brain is disturbing, even temporarily immobilizing. Hey, the brightest flashlight in the world could be yours for a mere $700. At its max power, its 100,000 lumens will fry an egg, light paper on fire, and absolutely grill your eyeballs. The flashlight has active fans and a built-in liquid cooling system so it doesn't burn up in your hand. That thing can throw a focused beam of light up to 1,350 meters. In short, probably has the power to stop anything with eyes dead in its track. Now, I keep a very bright light, though nothing close to 100,000 lumens, right next to my firearm. The ability to blind an attacker with a photonic barrier while engaging your weapon, that can be a lifesaver. So what does any of this have to do with a walk of faith, you might ask? Well, today's verse says, "Let your light shine before others." Now let's talk about why and how. Matthew adds some additional context to today's verse. Jesus has told the people gathered to hear him, people don't light a lamp, then stick it under a bowl. Well, of course not. I mean, the reason you light a lamp or even turn on a light is to increase the amount of light where you are. If you put the lamp under the bowl, you get no value from the light. Jesus said people put lamps on lampstands so it can give light to everyone in the house. You might be thinking, and I'm sure some of those people were, come on, Jesus, we're not idiots. None of us are walking around turning on lights and then shutting them up behind closed doors. Of course we're not doing that. Or are we? See, the God who said, out of darkness the light shall shine, it's the same God who made his light shine in our hearts. So if you have a faith relationship with Jesus, his light is shining in your heart. Jesus said that we are the light of the world. So here's the question. Are we letting our light shine in the darkness? I mean, the world, in case you hadn't looked around recently, it's a pretty dark place. I won't tell you how many pictures I've received in recent days of people that were executed by the Taliban in Afghanistan. Or how many pictures of infants murdered by machetes in South Sudan. Or videos of Christians in India being beaten inside police stations while the officers stand idly by doing nothing. There's just some things your eyes can never unsee. But that's precisely why we, a people for God's own possession, are chosen to be light in the darkness. So we can proclaim the excellencies of him who's called us out of darkness and into his marvelous light. You don't need to be some 100,000 lumen super Christian that can fry the eyeballs of unbelievers with your mastery of the scriptures. You just need to let your light shine before others. Because in a very dark place, even a small light stands out and offers a ray of hope and direction. When someone's in utter darkness, even a small light appears to be bright. So how do you get deliberate about being the light you were called to be? Well, the first step is to make sure that you're truly connected to the light source. If you don't have a faith relationship with Jesus, you got to start there. By the way, if you don't know how, message me. I'll arrange the introduction. The second step is to pray and ask him to open opportunities for you to let your light shine. He will. Hey, and don't be afraid to start small. Mother Teresa once said, we can't all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. Let the love of Christ show. Many of you know something I call the question. It's a simple yet profound way to shine light into dark places. Learn it. Learn to be able to ask people, hey, if I was going to pray something for you personally right now, what would it be? You'll be amazed at the responses you receive. Hey, I've had people unsure of what to ask that invited me to pray whatever I felt. I've never had someone respond to the question by telling me not to pray for them. And then pray for them right there with them. Just looking for the opportunity to ask the question once a day. That's going to stretch your faith. Actually, praying for someone's needs with them on a regular basis, that's not just going to stretch your faith. That's going to change your life. I'll wrap up with the photonic barrier of faith. The light of Christ in you can be a photonic barrier against the attack of the enemy. The stronger and brighter the light of Christ in you, the greater its power to stop any evil thing dead in its tracks. So there's the how of the verse that tells us, let your light shine before others. The why, short and sweet, so that they can see your good deeds and glorify your Father who's in heaven. It's not about you or your discomfort in asking people the question. It's about him. It's about his glory So open the door. It's time to come out of your closets, basements, and go let your light shine before others. Well, one way to do that would be to help me introduce people to the Jesus they never knew. Then to help them get to know him and his word personally and better. You could like this video. That'll help more people see it. You could click follow or subscribe and then hit the notification button so that we get together every day. You could click the link in the description and I'll send you a free copy of my book, Count to One, God's Plan for Christian Unity. I'll drop it right in your inbox for you. You know what else you could do? You could share this video with a friend. Because that's letting your light shine. So let your light shine. Makes you part of the team, helping share the love of Christ all over the world. Thank you. I really appreciate your help.